Hello and welcome to another episode of PsycKicks. My name is Liv. M is still in spirit, watching, guiding, guarding from the ether as she is still taking a break from recording videos and podcasts. But we are your PsycKicks. My name's Liv. I think I said that. If not, now you know. If you're new to the show, we are psychic mediums, twin flames, best friends, and psychic comedians of metaphysical epic proportions. We talk about all things spiritual, metaphysical, paranormal, and in between as your sidekicks to all things metaphysical.
No.
So today we're going to be talking about psychic synesthesia. And yes, that is a fun thing to say. If you can say it 10 times fast, you're cooler than I am. But we already made a video about this. So if you're someone who really likes, visual things better than audible things, then go on clicky doodle over to our YouTube channel and watch that, because Em's there too. If you also want Em's tidbits of information and her perspective of how she perceives synesthesia with her psychic abilities, please go on over and watch that video. But since she's not here today and is only in spirit, you're stuck with me. And you're going to get my perceptions as a clairvoyant mental medium on how I perceive synesthesia and how in everyday normal life and readings when I'm channeling spirits, whether they be that of people that are past or living animals, plants, trees, things like that. That's how I'm going to explain things today, how that happens. And we're going to start with colors, because for me, my idea of psychic synesthesia is related to colors. But actually, first, let's talk about, you might not even know what synesthesia is. So before we even get into the metaphysical part of it, let's talk about what synesthesia is according to this millennial looking up Wikipedia articles on synesthesia. I will put the link to the article in the show notes. If you guys are interested in going down your own rabbit hole of information, Wikipedia is always a great place to start. I had a friend in high school that went on Wikipedia tirades. So according to Wikipedia, synesthesia is a perceptual phenomena in which stimulation of one sensory or cognitive pathway leads to involuntary experiences in a second sensory or cognitive pathway. For instance, people with synesthesia may experience colors when listening to music, see shapes when smelling certain scents, or perceive taste when looking at words. People who report a lifelong history of such experiences are known as, and I don't know if I can do this, synesthetes. Synesthetes. I gave you lots of different variations. Awareness of synesthetic perceptions varies from person to person, with the perception of synesthesia differing based on an individual's unique life experiences and the specific type of synesthesia they have. In one common form of synesthesia, known as grapheme or color synesthesia or color graphemic synesthesia, letters or numbers are perceived as inherently colored. In spatial sequence or number form synesthesia, numbers, months of the year, or days of the week elicit precise locations in space. For example, 1980 may be spatially farther away than that person's perception of 1990. Or the years may appear as a three-dimensional map, clockwise or counterclockwise. Synesthetic associations can occur in any combination and any number of senses or cognitive pathways. Little is known about how synesthesia develops. It has been suggested that synesthesia develops during childhood when children are intensively engaged with abstract concepts for the first time. This hypothesis, referred to as semantic vacuum hypothesis, could explain why most common forms of synesthesia are grapheme color, spatial sequence, and number form. These are usually the first abstract concepts that the educational system requires children to learn. So, now that you know what synesthesia is, what form of synesthesia do you think you have? If you're listening on the PsycKicks Extras YouTube channel, make sure to comment that below. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review with, "Oh my God, I didn't know that I could taste colors," or "I associate the number 3 with the color red." Those types of things. I think Em was talking about in our synesthesia video on YouTube that she met somebody, a client, that she has like a spatial synesthesia where she can feel the energy of the room like feng shui. So if anybody out there studied feng shui, if you were like an interior art design major or anything like that, because I know I have friends that are artsy fartsy and have gone to school for like interior design or clothing design, fashion design. Maybe that's something that they do and they just don't know about it because, everyone has psychic abilities. But yeah, Em explained that this lovely person is able to see the flow of energy in a room. So with the understanding of feng shui, they're able to tell you how the placement of objects in the direction of your house facilitates or inhibits the flow of energy in a room. Isn't that wild? I just have like emotional synesthesia where I associate, well, I think it's more than emotional synesthesia. I have emotional synesthesia when I am doing readings. So certain colors will give me certain information about whatever it is that a spirit guide, whoever I'm talking to is trying to convey to me. But I do have the whole number color synesthesia. So for me, the number 3 always is associated with red. I feel like the number 5 can be associated with like red or brown. The number 7 is associated with the color green, things like that. And it always bothers me. Like when you were in school, if you went to public school, private school, whatever, did they make you color coordinate your folders? Because I remember each subject had to have a certain color folder. So if I went to like the store to get my school supplies in the end of summer, beginning of fall, I always thought that science had to be green or math always had to be blue and social studies had to be orange or red and language arts always had to be purple. So now when I have things like that, I color coordinate it following however, I don't know, whatever like color scheme that the teacher had that year. And it's always bothered me. And the one in the Wikipedia that I just read, the like beginning of the Wikipedia article, when someone perceives colors when listening to music, abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, the one song Dance Monkey, I forget, I think it's an Australian artist. She's pretty cool. That song elicits the most ridiculous synesthetic color perception in the history of the universe for me. And it's always the same every time I listen to it. Do you guys listen to a certain song and there's like, I don't know, shapes, colors, numbers, whatever that happens when you listen to it? If not, that's okay. But for me, my mental imagery of colors when I listen to music is just ridiculous. It's off the charts. Like, I like to say that synesthesia for me is like when that part in Ratatouille, when the little mouse, Ratatouille, well, no, his name is Lenny? No. I'm going to butcher this and people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you don't know his name. The little chef from Ratatouille, he gives his brother a piece of cheese and a piece of strawberry. And he's like, you can't just hork it down. You got to let the colors meld. And it makes this little, the creators of Disney make the little dancey colors and things like that. That is how I experience synesthesia when I'm listening to music. When I'm eating food, not so much. But listening to music is definitely a big one for me. But as a medium, which we're going to get into now, synesthesia is very much associated to colors because when I am channeling spiritual energy, the way souls and beings convey information to me is not how I'm talking to you right now. So in layman's terms, Em and I will talk about how spirits, quote unquote, talk to us. But the best way to explain this is by saying that souls and spirits communicate with us, because communicate is a much better word to convey what's actually going on. Talking is verbal. Communicating transcends verbal communication into the sense of synesthesia, feelings, body language, expressions, memories, things like that. So it's been very helpful for spirit, especially when I don't receive words like I am talking to you all right now, but instead thoughts, feelings, images, and emotions to convey information to the person that I'm speaking to. Because as a medium, that's my job. I am the medium or the in-between, the middle point between spiritual energy and you guys, whoever I'm talking to. So having that synesthetic or synesthesia happen is super, super helpful for spirit to help convey information to me so that I can then convey it to you all. So let's get into how I perceive certain colors synesthetically during mediumship readings. All right, so I'm going to cover just the basic colors of the rainbow, and a little bit extra, just because those colors are used very often for me to convey a breadth of information when channeling souls or spirits. The first color we're going to talk about is red. Now, I know a lot of you may have preconceived understandings or notions of what these colors mean based on things on the internet, but one of my biggest pet peeves with mediumship and understanding psychic abilities is don't limit yourself. Because when it comes to psychic information, it really is just like doing the Rorschach test. And I had people finally tell me this. Like I was saying rickshaw, and I know rickshaw is like a thing that someone pulls and you're in a cart. Anyways, Rorschach test. That is what it's like to perceive spiritual information. So the best way that souls and spirits can tailor that to have a psychic or medium see something in a certain way is through their psychic abilities. But at the end of the day, when it comes to understanding colors and more abstract things, because metaphysicality in the spiritual is very abstract, it's not tangible, it helps to not limit yourself in understandings. So the following understanding of colors, how I perceive them, is personal to me. If you also share the same ideas, beliefs, or feelings about it, go for it. But if you're like, no, red means this, then that is what red means to you, and you can also use that information. But don't limit yourself. Whatever speaks to you, my dude. So if I perceive red in a reading with a client, it can mean a lot of different things depending on how the soul or spirit conveys it. But I'm going to talk about this in the sense of spirit guides. So quick disclaimer about spirit guides or spirit guide readings. For me personally, if I perceive your spirit guide a certain way, since I am primarily a clairvoyant mental medium, I don't physically see them. They show me things within my mental image. So if you're someone that's able to envision a flower, a taco, a rainbow, great. You also probably have clairvoyant capabilities similar to myself as well. But some people who can't envision things in their mind, you see things differently. So for me, if I'm talking to a spirit guide, the way I perceive them is not necessarily indicative to what they actually look like. It's just their way of showing me certain Rorschach images that make sense to me to get out what they want you to know. So if a spirit guide presents to me as red, that tells me a lot about who that spirit guide is to you and how they help you. It's not necessarily what they look like. So red for me deals with safety, security, and confidence. Someone feeling safe and secure in the things that they have, who they are, stuff like that. So if a red spirit guide comes up to me and is like, yo, I'm a red spirit guide, they're usually red spirit guides for me are like big ones, because to feel safe and secure in yourself and the things that you have around you, you have to have this big sort of like bully energy. And that's how these souls understand how I perceive things. So that's how they convey themselves to me. So red is going to mean something where this spirit guide is going to help you with feeling safe and secure in your environment, with your assets, and your place in wherever you are. Very much like how your Muladhara chakra is understood, or your root chakra. Next color is going to be orange. We're just going to go in order of the chakras, because those colors are the colors of the rainbow too. And then, like I said, we're going to sprinky doodle in a couple other colors too. But for me, orange, if a soul comes up to me and say you're a client on a reading and you ask me a more psychic question, which is going to be like, what is happening in my career? That's a very, very common question. I, as a psychic medium, don't get information from myself or pull it from nowhere. Someone or something has to give me that information, i.e. a spirit guide or a past relative who knows, hears, feels, sees everything about you. So for example, in this scenario, hypothetically, say your grandfather steps forward because he's going to answer your question of what do you see for my career? Your grandfather shows me orange. And orange for me gives me the sensation and understanding of that a lot of things are happening all at one time. And you might be on the edge or the cusp of trying to understand, facilitate, or move in a certain direction in your job. So orange for me is taking inner ideas from yourself and then putting them into play so that it not only influences you, but these ideas and actions influence others too. So that might tell me, and your grandfather might show me other accessory information or images such as like you are currently leading a project at work, and what you're actually asking is what is going to be the outcome possibly of this project, given the fact that you're now acting on all of these ideas and thoughts and putting them into motion, and they're affecting yourself and others around you. So your grandfather would show me orange to tell me the basis of what's going on, and then show me other accessory information such as images, thoughts, feelings, and emotions that convey the whole picture to give you more insight onto the question that you asked. So moving on, if a soul shows me yellow, yellow is so fun, especially for spirit guides. Similarly to the chakra system, yellow for me also represents communication and expression of oneself. Yellow spirit guides are one of my favorite because they always come forward and they're like gun-ho, like, hoo, ha, I'm ready to go for it. And they can be masculine or feminine presenting, it doesn't matter. But when a spirit guide shows me that they are yellow, that spirit guide is there to help you understand how to express yourself, those inner ideas and thoughts, expressions for yourself. So unlike orange, where you're taking those ideas and expressing it onto other people, yellow is just for you. That is you speaking, doing, wearing, whatever it is as an expression of yourself for you. So yellow spirit guides are there for you. They're like your hype man. They're the one that's going to be like, actually, you know how your mom always told you that you could only wear like capris during this time of year, but you've always really liked capris and you want to wear them during this time of the year? We're going to do that because that's who you are. You're a capri girl. You know, something like that. If you've been too nervous to I don't know, start stand-up comedy because stand-up comedy is something that you really want to do, but you don't think you're funny. Your yellow spirit guide is going to be like, listen, we got to get these ideas out. We're going to do it. You can do it. Let's start writing these ideas down and set these things into motions because we got to express yourself. So that's what yellow spirit guides are. However, if a soul shows me yellow, yellow for me, if a human soul conveys it, is a little bit different. The feelings that I get from yellow from a soul is going to be much more reflective and spiritual. Yellow for me from a soul symbolizes that they're close to you, that they're near, and that they are in heaven or spirit. A lot of times they'll show me that, you know, on like a really partly cloudy day, but it's real sunny outside, sometimes how the sun shines through the clouds and it looks like that ethereal, like angels singing type thing. They will show me yellow and give me that sort of melancholy, just, I don't know, happy feeling, I guess, ethereal, whatever you want to call it, and sublime maybe. And that lets me know that they are at peace, they're around you, and that everything is okay. So it depends on how yellow is showed to me with different other supportive clairs or information that I feel different things and different information is conveyed. All right, so now we're moving on to green. Green is one of my favorites just because I personally like the color green. But when it comes to green, spirit guides will show themselves to me as green to explain who they are and how they help you. For me, green deals with understanding physicality because everything in the natural world is green. So a lot of times when spirit guides present to me and they are green, that tells me that the way that they help you is through understanding physicality. And a lot of times spirit guides that are green will help people that are anxious about things in the physical world. Sometimes you feel overwhelmed because so many things are happening at once, or you don't quite understand why something is happening given the circumstances in your life. Those green spirit guides will step forward to help you understand the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the physical events that are happening in your life. Now, on a more spiritual side, green spirit guides can also help you understand that the separation between the physical world and the spiritual world are actually a lot more transient than you might think. The line between the two is not as big or solid as we all perceive it to be. A lot of times if I'm talking to a client that practices spirituality in certain aspects such as divination or manifestation, a green spirit guide will step forward to say, I'm helping them with understanding that their intentions and the things that they do in this physical world also translate and carry into and forward with the spiritual world. So if you're someone that does spell work or things like that, green spirit guides, as well as purple, and we'll get to purple later, really help you understanding that these physical actions that you're doing also carry into the spiritual effects that could manifest as well. I don't really get green so much from souls necessarily to help facilitate information or communication for things. If I do, green from souls usually indicates money for me. So if a spirit guide is green, it means one thing. But if a soul, human or otherwise, tells me green in relation to something that you're asking me as a question, it usually relates to money or financial things, which is interesting. All right, we are moving on to blue. So blue for me emotionally as synesthetic interpretation is going to be, it's very spiritual for me. Blue represents the Anahata chakra, which is your heart chakra, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below, but heart chakra for layman's term. And in Eastern thought of chakra ideas, blue is associated with the heart chakra because blue is supposed to be love. Love is supposed to be limitless and ever expanding like the sky. Hence why Indian thought of the heart chakra is representative of blue. So when a blue spirit guide steps forward, the fact that they're blue tells me that they help you with understanding. And one of the things that really gets my goat is when people say, well, you just love is the answer. You love thy neighbor, all of that stuff. Really just grinds my gears, because you can't love something though unless you understand it. For me personally, I find it hard to love certain things that I don't understand. For example, it could be very hard to love one of your relatives, whether it be a mother, father, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, whoever, friend. You cannot love them if you don't understand the things that they have gone through. So someone might be a real surly SOB, but the reason they're that way is for things that you don't understand. And maybe if you were to understand their history and their path and the things that have molded them into the person they are, then it may be easier to understand and therefore love them, or at least accept them. So for me, blue spirit guides, when they step forward, tell me that they're there to help and assist you with understanding. And this understanding is going to lead to love, whether it be for yourself or others. And it really just gives me this sort of peaceful feeling. Like, I feel like sometimes peaceful can, when a soul gives me the feeling of peace, it can be content, where you're just happy and there's nothing that you want or know or need to understand. It's just simple acceptance of peace. However, the peace that I feel from blue spirit guides or when souls show me the color blue is a freeing sort of peacefulness, something that feels like on a hot day when the wind blows on your face. That is the sort of peace that I feel from those blue spirit guides. And it's interesting how spirit gives us this information to convey certain things. It's communication, really at its core. All right, the next color is going to be violet or purple. I'm just going to skip indigo because indigo is an odd color, so we're just going to lump it together with purple or violet. So for me, purple or violet deals with high spiritual understanding. Usually when spirit guides step forward for me and they have a purple essence to them, most of the time for me, they're female. Sometimes they're male. I don't know what that has to mean to anything. And I would like to preface the fact of when I say a spirit guide is male or female, it is that they present male or female. For me, masculinity or femininity is a synesthetic sort of feeling. It is something feels masculine or something feels feminine. A lot of the times when I'm doing readings for living animals, sometimes an animal that is female, because of their personality, will feel masculine, even though biologically they're feminine, and vice versa. So like, for example, with cats, a lot of the times I will feel cats who are boys are just super, super silly and like outgoing, and I will think that they're females, but they're actually males. and vice versa for dogs and things like that. So if you have like a girl cat that's a bossy lady because she's a kitty cat, and she dance, and she dance, it's because I might think that she's masculine because she gives off that I'm the coolest of the cool type information. So when I talk about your spirit guides and I feel that they are masculine or feminine presenting, it's not because they have a gender. It's just the synesthetic quality that I feel of them. Now, the violet purple spirit guides that I see are usually feminine, and they deal with high spiritual understanding and energy. They are the person that is helping you on a higher level than like the green spirit guides. They're helping you understand the spirituality and the spiritual aspects that are within you and the world around you. They make those connections of, oh, this happened. Oh, it wasn't something that was just based in the physical world, but it also has a higher spiritual understanding or mystery that I now understand. So a lot of times purple spirit guides will tell me that they help deal with dreams. So they give you a lot of like subliminal messaging, I suppose. And they're just very ethereal and mysterious, I guess. I feel like there's another word that I could use to describe them. Abstract. They're very abstract because, again, spirituality is abstract in and of itself. So that's kind of just their vibe. They give off the librarian that will scare you because they know everything and you can't talk too loud. Otherwise, they'll shush you and like hit a ruler on the table mixed with Professor Snape. But not all the time. All right, so we're moving on to the color white. Now, for me, white is super, super cool. Sometimes we'll talk about, instead of spirit guides first, we'll talk about human spirits. When human spirits show me white usually deals with their passing, which is interesting. I've never really thought about it like introspectively before, but a soul will usually show me white or flash of white light if they died very quickly, whether it be an accident or just like a really fast medical issue that arose, such as like a heart attack or pulmonary embolism, stroke, things like that. They'll show me a white light. It's very fast. And the feeling that I get from it is the same feeling that listening to the sound of someone snapping their fingers would elicit. Now, when a white spirit guide shows up, white deals with, for me, an extremely high understanding of things. It is a spirit guide that is here to help you be well-rounded. I think the way Em explained it in our video was, if you take a prism of light, white light itself, shown through a prism, is going to be directed into the rainbow colors. So all of the colors of the rainbow create white light. Now, because of this, white spirit guides are going to be someone or something that helps you understand everything as a whole, taking those pieces and putting them together. They might be someone that enters your life after a lot of consecutive spiritual awakenings, which in my opinion is just life itself, one spiritual awakening after another. But they're going to be the ones that come over and come to help you step forward, whatever you want to call it, once you have reached a certain point where you can take all of those life lessons and make something out of it. Think of life lessons like ingredients to a recipe. And you're like, okay, I got carrots, I got legumes, I got some potatoes, tomatoes, greens, beans, tomatoes, potatoes, you name it. You got it going on. But you're like, what am I supposed to do with these? They all kind of suck. I need to cook the potatoes because no one wants to eat a raw potato. What am I supposed to do with these beans? Am I going to make a beanstalk out of it? What? Insert white spirit guide. They're like, listen, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, creator source, gave you these ingredients, and I'm here to teach you, like the Gordon Ramsay of spirituality, how to not be a donut and make something spectacular. That's going to be the white spirit guide for you. Do you get it? Do you like it? Cool. All right, moving on. Brown spirit guides. Now, you might not like having a spirit guide or getting the color brown, but brown for me, sorry, I'm just trying to think about this. Spells don't really show me brown too much, but spirit guides do. And I've only had a couple spirit guides that show me themselves as brown. Now, brown synesthetically means, for me emotionally, like the conveyance of brown into an emotion, is being grounded, like the mud, like a rock, whatever brown. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to like make silly jokes worse anyways. Brown is going to be grounded. So when a brown spirit guide steps forward, they're someone that's helping you with just sitting in the mud, because sometimes you just need to sit in the mud and do nothing. Just chill out, relax, and just understand and take everything in. You need some time. I like to call brown spirit guides, they're kind of like the universe giving you someone to give yourself permission to have grace. Sometimes you just need to have grace, and that's going to be these brown spirit guides. You don't need to go forward. You don't need to go back. You just need to chill, my guy. All right, moving on to gray. Gray spirit guides are interesting. I've only actually talked to 2 spirit guides that are gray, and they actually came up before we had the idea to make the video that we did on YouTube about psychic synesthesia. So gray spirit guides to me are interesting. They're not black, they're not white, they're not brown, and they usually present to me looking like a fog or kind of like a ghost a little bit. They're very transparent. But gray for me, the emotions that elicit that is very much similar to moving forward with caution, but also with purpose. It's not necessarily that caution is necessary, but it's just moving forward in a different way, something that's new. They give me this sort of uplifting feeling of things are going to start to change, but it's going to be a very slow moving change. Okay, if we got tarot people here, if you're listening, if you know anything about tarot, brown spirit guides, I'm just backtracking to help explain a little bit better in a different way. Brown spirit guides to me tell me that you are going through and they're going to be helping you with a point in your life where you need to just be a hermit and a page at the same time. That is going to be your brown spirit guide energy or brown energy, emotion, whatever. Gray spirit guides, they're going to be, I think it's the King of Wands or the King of Swords. One of them that works with really slow moving progress. You're going forward, you know the truth, but it's going to be really, really, really slow. And it's also the page, because you have a lot of ideas and things that you're going for, but you're going to be doing it in a more slow, calculated, understanding way. You're going to take the time it takes, so it takes less time, because now you have this new perception, this new insight of what is going on and the direction you need to move. The way the gray spirit guides like to present to me is kind of like fog in a forest under a full moon. That is usually how they present to me. And again, it's not what they look like. It's just what they're helping you with. Sometimes in the dark, things have a new light to them. Pun intended. I'll let you ponder that a little more. Sometimes in the dark, things have a new light to them, especially if the way everything is illuminated by the full moon gives you a different way of how things might look. It doesn't look the same as it does in the day, but it gives you a new perspective. Now, that heavy, thick fog that's moving across the forest floor is going in a certain direction, but it's moving very slowly, and it understands and sees those new lights given the fact that it's a certain time, with the moon out and it's dark outside. That is what gray makes me feel, that sort of cool calmness of like, okay, I got this. We're going in a direction. It's quiet and we're going to have potential. All right. Next color. Black spirit guides. I don't know. Black is hard for me. When souls show me black, it's usually associated with their passing, and it's not good. It's a very just like end of the line thing. It usually deals with people who have had tragic passings due to drug overdoses or ending their own life. So black for me is usually associated with that when I talk to souls who have passed in scenarios similar to those. But I don't think I've ever talked to a black spirit guide. And if I do, no, maybe I have. I feel like I've maybe 1 or 2, similarly to green ones. For me, the emotions that black spirit guides elicit for me is that of reflection, which is interesting because you wouldn't think that black would be a reflection of things, but they show me almost like a scrying mirror or the mirror on a computer. Like you can see yourself in the reflection. Sometimes shadows, we talk about shadow work. Shadows, if you don't know, is your reflection, but without light. So it's thinking about that guide is going to be helping you with inner self-reflection, things that you haven't really brought to the surface, they're going to bring to the light, which seems a little counterintuitive, but it is. That's how I perceive them. It's that you turn around. No, anyways, no, you turn around and that is your shadow. That is the thing that black spirit guide is going to be helping you with, that reflection of yourself that seems a little fuzzy, but it is a part of you and it is connected to you. All right, my last two favorite colors in the whole world is going to be pink and gold. All right, so for me, pink, whether it is a person or a spirit guide, a past loved one, a pet, a spirit guide, if they show me pink, pink is just that unconditional love. It is something that transcends understanding. And even if someone or something can't understand you, they just accept you for who you are and they love you unconditionally. Sometimes with spirit guides that are pink, they are helping you understand unconditional love of yourself or of others, or they're helping you mediate the unconditional love that you give to others to sort of tailor it back a little bit and give some of that love, not just to others, but also to yourself. A lot of times, grandmothers will come in and they make me smell like what I think the color pink would smell like, which is another synesthesia thing. And that tells me that they love you, absolutely, unconditionally love you. And a lot of times when a grandmother or a grandparent or a past loved one shows me the color pink or makes me smell that pink color in association to you, they will then bring up a lot of things that you about yourself may not like, or things that other people have brought up about you that they've criticized or chastised you on. And this grandparent just wants to bring light to those things that you've thought about or things that people have said about you and tell you it does not matter because, honey, you are sweeter than pie and I love you no matter what. And it literally just, readings like that make me so happy. So that is what pink deals with. Now, gold. Gold is like pink, but way, way more. Gold is healing. Gold is source. Gold is God, creator, whatever you want to call it. It is an extension of that healing. It's understanding, it's acceptance, it's love, it's unconditional. And it just, sometimes gold spirit guides can be very like ethereal and pretty and I don't know, magnificent, whatever. And then other times gold spirit guides are like, yeah, they're just absolutely ridiculously off the wall, high vibrational. Like, we're here to party. We're just going to do everything like head first type of energy. And it really just depends on what type of person you are that your spirit guide is going to convey themselves with that gold energy of. But gold for me just helps me understand that it deals with healing and things that come from directly source, God, creator, spirit, whatever you want to call it. And that's up there with white. I would say the most healing, high spiritual colors would be white, gold, and pink. But that's just my opinion. Those are my go-tos when I'm feeling down or want to just sort of reflect. And I don't know, for me, I don't do Reiki professionally. It's something that I'm thinking about learning. So if that's something that you guys want me to cover or possibly dive more into, let me know in the comments below if you're listening on the PsycKicks Extras YouTube channel or not. But I don't know. I like envision energy sometimes, and it, again, those are connected with emotions. So for example, my husband comes home from like a really long day at work. I can see that there's like green and brown and orange energy just associated with him. I will sit while we're watching TV, eating dinner, whatever it is, after the baby's asleep, and I'll just like put my hand on his arm or just hold his hand, whatever, and I will focus on drawing out that energy, which green deals with his ideas of focusing on the physical too much. Orange is keeping up all those pent up ideas and not expressing them during his workday. And then the brown is just mixing of those two, and try to envision it just, I don't know, leaving, kind of like, if you know, like those really cool pictures that people will do in like stop photography where they have the big old clouds of colored smoke behind them. It's like that. I'll envision those colored clouds of smoke just leaving, and then I'll envision pink, white, or gold energy replacing it. Sometimes when I'm driving and there's an animal that looks like they're going to cross the road, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a bad idea. There's too many cars. I will send a sort of prayer, mental note, thought, energy vibe into the universe, God, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, and envision gold and white light and pink around that animal in my own silly little way to help protect and guide them depending on the decision that they want to make of whether to cross the road or not, and just make sure that they stay safe, because you can't just stop in the middle of the road and try to fix the situation all the time. That could make more of a problem than anything else. So, yeah. Did you enjoy my synopsis on synesthesia and how it is used to convey information to me about spirit guides and other things when I'm channeling spiritual energy? If not, don't tell me because I'll cry. But if you did, let me know in the comments below. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please, please, please feel free to leave us a review. And I know on Spotify now you can rate the show. So give us a good rating. And if you don't want to give us a good rating, maybe don't, because that's not nice. Just only let's spread positivity in this here sector of the interwebs and the Spotify podcast universe. If you guys are interested in a reading, I have started putting up readings on availability by a month before basis, just because I have my son now. He's a couple months old, and if something happens, I don't want to have to cancel people's readings that have been waiting a really, really long time, because that's how it has been. Not that I was canceling readings, but I feel bad having people wait so long for readings. So now I'm just doing it on like a pre-month by pre-month basis. So if it's April, then I'll be scheduling out for May, things like that. But if you're interested in a reading, please go on to our website. There'll be a link in the show notes, and see if you're interested in a reading. If not, that's okay too. But as always, it was fun talking to all of you and the interwebs, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a lovely day. And until then, we are your PsycKicks. Peace.